Keely Ryan. I'm in 6th class in Golden National School and I'm interviewing Arthur Landers with Meg Ormond, who's in 5th class.
Okay. So, what games did you play as a child?
Hurling and football.
And which was your favourite?
Hurling.
And what was your position when you were playing?
Fullback usually.
Were you any good?
I shoved up in the way.
Was the principal ever involved, Mr. McGuire, involved in your hurling teams as a youngster?
Oh, to see, you could say started us hurling because he was a famous Limerick hurler himself when junior. He hurled on there in UB here in 1937, Munster final. So he was a great hurler. And he started the school teams here. And Wednesday evening the girls would have sewn and we did no classes. And for that hour he would up the blackboard and he'd draw the goal post. And he'd put dots on the team.
Yeah.
That was it. And he'd tell us what to do and anything he'd tell you, you'd try.
You'd be listening, yeah.
And they would have matches every day down the field. It was always, sometimes football was 90% of the times was hurling. And often now in Mental Heal we might be playing goal and might be beaten as a vice versa. And Tom McGuire would handle his hurling. Yes, we got a bit to the ball after he hit, you'd be afraid of your life. He was well able to use hurling.
Yeah.
But he played an awful part in the 3 county finals. We won 52, 3 and 4. And he was so proud of it.
Yeah.
And this, I think I said this before, that I was a captain the first year, I was only 12. And I shouldn't have been a captain, but it was Father Kennedy was a curate and he was mad into it. And he was playing us and he appointed me captain to say that. But anyhow, when I first qualified and the referee was in Cashel, the referee gave me the ball and I had it here. I had it at home, the slipper that we played with. And Eileen McGuire, Tom McGuire's daughter, she's still there to go, thank God. She asked me one time, would I mind giving it to the school? And they'd painted green and white and they had green, white and gold and harp or whatever, and they did it and I saw it.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Lots of people were looking at it.
Admired it, yeah.
And it was in Mr. O'Dee's time, which was there, and he hadn't it disappeared.
Yeah.
Not to look or something. He was mad over it, but it was never ever found. Someone
Yeah.
had it. Could be a complete stranger.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you know how your townland got its name?
The fork, there was a fork in the river there below the island where the castle is, and that divides the river into a fork. So Fork is Galway and Irish, I think.
Yeah.
And that's how Bolan got its name, Galway.
Did anyone from the area emigrate?
Oh, there was a people, yeah.
And can you remember anybody from when you were young?
From my own brothers immigrated to England and relations and lots in the parish, I can remember, hurlers and everything, you know. Immigration back in the early 50s and 60s, they were nearly as bad as well done, just had enough.
Yeah.
There's some going still, you know, unfortunately.
How would you describe the land?
Around here, it's the Golden Mail, the best land around here.
Yeah, and was there any wooded areas?
Yeah, there was woods around. The most prominent one was up in Arcrew again, which was in the parish. Tom Kennedy owned it, and we used to all go up picking the hazelnuts, and it was lovely. Even to walk through it, and women out of the houses there near it now, just up where the road from me, they go up and they pick sticks for lighting the fire and bringing down in their bib or bag or whatsoever. But unfortunately, Willie Kennedy took it over and he demolished it. It's gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any unusual stories associated with
With the parish, there's lots of them associated with the parish. The one that is true is St. Patrick. He said he walked through every town and village in Ireland, but he ran through Golden and lost his tooth in Kilfeacle. And that's how our Kilfeacle got its name, tooth lost. That's when I remember it. So we were tough back then.
Were deals ever made at certain crossroads or townlands?
Well, there was private deals went ahead, I don't know if any at Crossroads. I say there could have been, yeah. There was one dealer in this farmer, he was meant to buy a good ass, and the fellow living beside him had an ass, so he went over to him one day and he said, I'm looking for a good ass, would you sell that ass? Well, he said, I got enough money. So I said, what kind of an ass is he? Oh, he's best ass you'll ever get an ass like him, you want an ass for work, is such a way. So after a long time anyway, he bought the ass for £20, no money. So he had the ass working for 3 weeks, and he was a flaking ass to work. He couldn't, he's pure delight. But one Thursday morning anyway, he went out to catch him to do something again, and the ass was dead. And he said that bloody shagger, he knew there was something wrong. And he went back to your nether fire and he said, what kind of an ass is that you sold me? Best ass in the country. He said, you look at you have him. I am, he says. Found out this morning, he said, he's dead at the door there, and he had him 3 weeks. What do you say about that? It's funny now, said your man that sold him, because he said, he never did that before, he said.
What kind of bread was eaten?
Mostly homemade bread, brown bread and cake bread, as you call it.
And how was it made?
It was made over an open fire with a pot, and the bread was put into it when it was made up, and there was sprees taken out the fire and just put on the lid, so it was cooking from both ends.
What kind of meat was generally eaten?
Bacon was one of the hidden there, one things like that.
And was fish eaten?
Oh yeah, fish very much so, especially around here with the river, people were fishing and other people were fishing, and then people would buy that and then had to eat, especially on a Friday when they couldn't have meat. This was a terrible place for pork and salmon, and you know there was so many months of the year and you couldn't catch salmon, it was legal. And of course the few of the boys here were always at it day and night. But the sergeant that was here was Michael O'Donoghue, our grandman, but he was dead on poach in the river. He was always watching it. You know the barrack is here in the village, the old barrack. He was living there, you see. And the men used to go up along the bank in the river fishing there sometime, anytime, at various times in daylight. And he'd be watching out, and he'd see him going out, you know, and he'd wait about a half an hour, and he'd stay up along and catch him. There were summons, you know. So they thought it was a great idea one evening. It was back now, it was outside, with the church bell, the rope for ringing, and it was outside, and came into the church, facing the barrack. So when the lads would be going up fishing, and then the sergeant would go up in a half an hour to catch them. When he'd be on his way up, they'd have a fella left below, one of the fishermen, he'd pull the rope, the bell would ring, it would be 4 o'clock in the evening, we'd be seeing the end. You're meant to be gone then by the time the sergeant get up. Well, that's true.
The last question for you now. What have been the biggest changes you've noticed over the past years?
Well, everything has got more modern, like you have all different implements, and all different machinery, and we say sewing bees and places. In my time was done by hand. Now you have plate planter, you have bead seeders, and we used to be thinning the bead. We get our summer holidays, first job, out thinning bead. And some fellas were handy, they could do it with the hoe, you tin it out to one. But I wasn't handy with the hoe, and I used to go down on my knees, or you don't need it. And you go on the week thinning bead, because everyone was grown at that time, you know, to show interest.
Yeah, and after the village of Golden, when you were a child, could you describe the village, different things that were in the village that we wouldn't have now, we'll say?
Yeah, there was a big stone outside where John McSweeney is living now, a huge stone, it was circular shape. And old people during the day and younger people and old people at night time, you sit down on it in the summer's evening and chat away there for hours. Now, when the creamery took over, the creamery in Golden, Mitchelstown, or the Eddie Hall, they came on and they took the stone, which they weren't entitled to, it wasn't their property.
Yeah.
So there was people in the meeting in the parish anyhow, so fair play to Eddie Dalton. He went down and made them return the stone. So they returned the stone to the creamery, yeah, but they buried it with a digger.
Oh.
And Eddie came on, with a digger and took it up, and then he has it below outside his own
Yeah,
house.
I
So
saw
that is still there.
Yeah. Can you remember any stories, we'll say, about a tassel and different things that might have gone on there? Or even
It's not really.
even things around the castle on the bridge, maybe?
Yeah.
Can you remember when that was, they did a little bit of work on it in the 60s for the
Oh, they did.
50th anniversary?
That's right. But there was, I don't know if it's still there, there was an underground from that castle on the bridge into Cashel. And so it was, but that's only there any longer.
Yeah.
And also from a castle at Abbey, believe it or not, there was an underground from there to Clonmel.
Oh.
But that's gone by now, I'd say. I don't
Yeah.
know. There were two places where there was undergrounds, they said, and they were
Yeah.
used.
Yeah. The GA club, when you were talking about playing with the juveniles back in the 50s, what was the state of the field and the senior club at that time, or even before even?
Yeah, well, the field was always a good one, but there was one slide, there was a hump in the middle of it. And I remember we all had, they got in 1 year, Gordon got an offer, I wasn't done seeing it then, but Gordon got an offer beat in the first round of the West in the Championship. And the morning after I was going out to the Premier Desert Car, and there was a sign up in the hurling field late for sale. But what happened then was, how and they set a crop of corn in it, and grass seeds. And they got great money for the grain and the straw, I'm sure. And the grass seeds were fine, and they levelled it. So back then, a good many years, what the 60s, Connie Ryan, there was a local builder there, and they got him to build a block wall all around it, and some of it was done voluntary. Paddy Carroll did a lot of it. And the sideline seats then came shortly after that,
Yeah.
and we all had to put him up.
Yeah.
And they were great developments, and so then in particular, the stand and this building outside,
Yeah.
so it was one of the finest in the
In the
county.
county, yeah, it's
I mean,
fantastic, yeah.
it's a great field. There's a gravel bottom to it. There's all gravel around here, and any kind of rain the night before, you can go and play.
Yeah, there's matches played in Golden when there's matches played nowhere else.
They're transferred from lots of places fundamentally in
Yeah.
Golden, and they can play them.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention, something you might know. Where we are here now is on Mantle Hill. And Mantle Hill goes out actually to the bank of the river. That's the divide. It's all Mantle Hill up along the bank of the river.
And actually, you were saying, you said to us before we started recording, about Golden and the village of Golden being situated elsewhere.
Yeah, it was up at the back of the present graveyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ground is preserved.
And is there anything up there?
No, there's nothing. There's one of Williams that owns it now. There's cattle raising on it. And I said I haven't seen it. There's a stone somewhere on it saying it is preserved.
Yeah.
But anyway, back in the early 50s, airplanes were very scarce, not like now. Even though there was an airstrip where they were standing down in Miss Edwards, still there, I think. But anyway, one evening about 5 o'clock, this airplane came very low over the village and around here, and we were all out looking at it, by myself. So the morning after we met, should be talking about the store, Mr. McGuire came in, so that he could give 10 minutes talking about it. So he helped us anyway, and he said, there was none of us around just even at 5 o'clock. He said we were all in Limerick. He said, could any of you tell us how low this plane was? And Jimmy Dalton stood up and says, I'll tell you, sir. So when he came to our A-bell, so we had to sit back from it. It's just a likely story. He said, sit down. It's the last one, a small experience I had at Tom McGuire. We were in the cloakroom, but no, we were in the big room at this time. But you go out every morning about 10 o'clock to call the rolls, and that'll be a half hour, and the racket is there in our room. But he used to be his hat hanging outside the door, and he'd always put on his hat, you see. But in the racket it's there, maybe after a while, as to stay quiet, it would be around. But when they steal back along to the door, and when we see the hat, we quietness, it helps when you catch the hat thing ready in. So one day he went out anyway, and I noticed he didn't brand the hat at all. So being smart, I told him a number. The racket started, but I pretended I was going out to the toilet. And I went out, and I went down on my knees, and I got his hat. And I bent down, and there was a racket inside the room, and the very mate they saw the dude. He saw the top of the hat, did sign it. And I was laughing, but the next thing I got the toe up and the tail end, and I was off flying. I found the hat, and he said, "Your head isn't big enough for that, Jay." He was behind me, look at that.